All right, VC, Midge here, guy in a hat. Let's talk about records, and it's January, isn't it? I hate January. I can't stand January. It's the worst month of the year. You sort of have, December with Christmas and all its goodwill and cheer and jollity and coloured lights and everything's bright, and then it sort of just stops, and then you've got January and New Year. God, I hate New Year. Don't celebrate New Year. It's just depressing. Why anyone would celebrate the start of January is beyond me. But yeah, all that jollity's packed away. Goodwill to all men's put in a box till next year, and you're just left with like a bland, cold, austere month of January, which seems to go on forever. Really cold, really grey, really desolate, and yeah, it's awful month. These guys had it right. Pilot, the song January. January, sick and tired of you hanging on me. You make me sad, come and see. Oh, January. Whoa, yeah, you get the picture. But yeah, I can't stand January. It's an awful month. And if I could hibernate for January every year, I would. I'd do it, no problem. Hibernate in January, come round about end of February, beginning of March, where spring's kicking in, and yeah, awful month. Goes on forever as well. So the theme of today's video is difficult music for a difficult month, and every January I seem to do this more so than any other month. I don't know if it's because I see January as a cold, sort of bleak month, but I tend to gravitate a lot to quite difficult or abstract music. I don't know if it's because it reminds me of January or helps me get through January, or I just associate it with that sort of. It's the way my brain works. My brain's a bit weird. So I've just pulled out a couple of albums that I've been listening to during January as an example of this. This music is quite, it's not for everybody. I did think about doing some sound clips, but I just thought it's just going to put you off even more. So these are albums that, I really enjoy listening to, but, I doubt anybody else has got any interest in them. But, it's sort of like it's valid. It's music that I listen to. So I thought I'd talk about it, but I don't think I've got much chance of putting anybody onto these albums because they're not for everyone, and they all come under the banner of, when I put them on, my wife says, what the hell is this and why the fuck are you making me listen to it type genre. And oh yeah, another reason I hate January is because ice everywhere. So last week I fell over, legs akimbo up in the air, and broke my finger. So that's another reason why I dislike January. And this is my stylus dropping hands. This is important. You know what I mean? That could have, that could have put me out of action for months, that. But I'm soldiering on. I'm soldiering on. But yeah, that's another reason why I can't stand January. Anyway, all these albums are quite difficult. I'd say they're for the more adventurous listener, but hopefully you'll find something interesting here. But these are all albums I've been listening to during January since I packed all the Christmas music away and all the yeah, all the albums of the year. This is where I am at now, mentally and musically. So the first one is a new one to me, and I've been really enjoying it. It came out at the end of last year, and it's a reissue. And the band is, I think I'm pronouncing this right, Clock Diva or Clock DVAA. And this is White Souls in Black Suits, and it's a reissue on Mute that, like I say, came out at the end of last year, and it sounded intriguing because this is the first vinyl issue it's had. It was originally issued on tape in 1980 on the on Throbbing Gristle's Industrial Records label, which immediately made me think this could be worth checking out, and it is. It's great. And it's produced by, it was made in my hometown of Sheffield, so that was another reason I thought it was worth checking out. And it was produced by members of the industrial band Cabaret Voltaire. And yeah, so I've been listening to this quite a lot, really enjoying it. Basically, it's sort of like a collection of sort of like industrial harsh soundscapes. A lot of the music on it apparently was made from sort of like jamming basically or improvising by this band over a couple of days, and they got together the snippets and they treated the music like Eno used to do. They put it through tape machines or they mixed it slightly differently, and it's a really intriguing sort of set of soundscapes. Half of them are instrumental and half of them have vocals by the leader, Adi Newton, who uses a lot of bowed electric guitar effects and things on here. And he's got quite a monotone type delivery. So at times I think he sounds a bit like Captain Beefheart, which is quite intriguing. But yeah, really cool, sort of really dark, really filmic. Sort of, you could imagine this being a soundscape to a film, obviously quite a dark film, but lots of improvisations, lots of sort of saxophone type sounds, like skronky type saxophone sounds. You can tell a lot of it's improvised, but there's lots of cool rhythms there. It's sort of got like a post-punk type sound to it. If you like Joy Division, there's an element of Joy Division in this in terms of how sort of dark and yeah, sort of cold sound, but also, you know, lots of sort of post-punk type rhythms that are sort of quite intriguing. The first track especially, Consent, is superb. Sort of really like abstract post-punk type rhythms and guitars and stuff. And yeah, it's just I really enjoyed this. It's really cold and really dark, but yeah, great for this time of year. It's a great reissue. It comes, it's double vinyl. It's got some bonus tracks on it as well. I recorded at the same sessions, and it comes on this grey vinyl, which again is very suitable for this time of year. And also, like I said, the original came out on a cassette, and they've reproduced the booklet that came with the original cassette, obviously in a 12-inch vinyl format. So that's pretty cool. You've got like all the sort of bizarre type improvised lyrics and pictures of the band and things like that. Let's try and show you a picture of the band. Yeah, that's the band there. So yeah, this is a great reissue. Like I say, if you're a fan of Throbbing Gristle, then you'll know where this is coming from. But I've been really enjoying the soundscapes on this. I think it's a great album. So that's worth picking up in January. And that's Clock Diva, White Souls in Black Suits on Mute. Another difficult album I've been enjoying in this difficult month is an old-time classic of the genre, and it's from 1975. It's the fifth album by Lou Reed, and it's Metal Machine Music. This is the reissue, the Record Store Day reissue from last year. I've had a copy of this for years, a CD copy, but I've been after the original vinyl for years, and you never see it. And when you do see it, it's usually battered or it goes for really high prices. So I was really pleased that the reissue did, and this reissue is superb. It's sort of like I don't know if it's got one of those sort of strange textured rubberized covers, if you know what I mean. There's a embossed silhouette of Lou Reed there. There's the original label that was used on the LP there. Another sort, I don't know if you can see that. Another embossed picture of Lou Reed on it. And it's a really nice reissue. It does give it the respect that I think it deserves. And obviously this album's got quite a famous history. Released in 75. There were lots of rumours around at the time about why he released it. Some say it was a big fuck you to his record label, or a bit of a diss to his fans who just wanted him to keep playing the same songs live, his hits. And obviously it dive-bombed his career. So basically, if you've never heard it, Lou Reed recorded it himself in his loft. He got two guitars, he tuned them all to the same note, and then just basically leaned them against amplifiers and recorded the results. Few microphones, a tape machine. There are a lot of, in the inner sleeve, there are a lot of technical specs that he put down, but apparently that was just a prank. He wanted to try and make it a bit more pretentious than it was. And he did actually want it releasing on a classical imprint for his label, but they refused to do it. And so you've got 4 sides of guitar feedback and noise, about 15 minutes long, apart from side 4, which has the famous lock groove at the end, so it goes on into infinity until you just can't stand anymore. But I'm one of those weird people. I've always enjoyed this album. I don't know why. I'm just contrary like that. Apparently, it's I don't know if this is a myth, but it was supposedly the most returned album in history. And I remember years ago when I was a teenager, my mate was a huge Lou Reed fan, and he got this from a second-hand record shop. I think it was quite expensive even then. then. And he just had one listen, he just took it straight back. He said, I can't be doing with that. It's just noise. And it is noise, but it's glorious noise to me. I love listening to it. So since I've picked up the reissue, I've been listening to it. Well, I've put it away for a bit and then I've sort of dug it out because I thought this is another perfect January album. So I've been listening to this quite a lot. And it's just a great listen. It's no semblance of a tune there, but what's great about it is there's so many different ways of listening to it. Obviously, it has left channel and right channel, so you can listen to the channels individually. Together, it's just a great noise. It's just a great headphone listen. Obviously, you don't want to listen to it too loud because it'll just scrape all the earwax out of your ears. But I don't know, there's something about it that I've always really enjoyed. You have to be in the mood for it, obviously, and I certainly wouldn't listen to all four sides in the same sitting, but I don't know, there's something about it. And Lou Reed himself always championed it. There were rumours that it was, he just put it out as a joke, but when you read his interviews over the years, he was really proud of it, and he never sort of dismissed it or said it was a mistake. He always stood by it, but it's not particularly an easy listen, and it totally dive bombed his career for a time, and it was just seen as a total joke. But it's just great, and when you listen to it, there's so much in it. It's like at times it sort of veers very closely into some semblance of melody, and it's great when it does, only for a few seconds, but sometimes it does amplify, and it does sort of get to the point where you think there's a little bit of a melody there, but it's gone as soon as it appears. But it's a great, fascinating listen to me. Absolutely love it. And this reissue, like I say, really nicely done. There's a lot of spot varnish gloss on the inner sleeves. There's great pictures of Lou Reed on it. It's, again, they must have known. It's on this grey marbled wax, perfect for the grey skies of January. It does include the lock groove on side 4, so that's great. And it's got sleeve notes by Thurston Moore in it, obviously, because it was a big influence on him and the sort of the music he went on to make with Sonic Youth. And what always makes me smile is they did actually make an 8-track edition of Metal Machine Music, and it's just great to me that someone would pick this up and then just drive around in the car listening to it on 8-track with it endlessly looping round and around. But it's a great album. It's obviously you have to be in the mood or you have to have the temperament for it, but I think this is a great reissue. And Lou Reed's Metal Machine Music, perfect for January, perfect for the awkwardness of January. The next choice in my difficult music is something that I've been obsessed with for quite a while. I first heard it I've sort of stumbled across it on YouTube years ago, probably around about the time it was released. Listened to it, thought it was bizarre, but couldn't get hold of a vinyl copy. It was very limited. And it was one of them things where you sort of think, I'll look out for that, and I forgot all about it. And then I even forgot the artist who did it. So for a while, I was searching for it and just thought, did I imagine that, or was it? Because it was very bizarre. And it sort of cropped up again by accident, and then I had a look for it, and the prices were astronomical for it. Like I say, it was very limited. And bizarrely enough, a reissue campaign started, and this was included in it. And I thought, I've got to get a copy this time. And it's by sort of like a very, not particularly industrial, experimental band along the lines of Nurse with Wound and Steve Stapleton and that sort of ilk. And it's the frontman is David Tibet, and the band is Current 93. I don't know a lot about Current 93 because I've tried some of their stuff and it just doesn't do it for me. But this really appealed to my bizarre sort of sensibilities. This is I Have a Special Plan for This World by Current 93. It was originally released in 2000. Like I say, it was reissued last year on a picture disc format. It's not my favourite format, picture disc, but I thought if I don't pick up a copy this time, it could be years until it's reissued again. And it's a very special piece of music, if you can call it music. I'll describe the music first before getting into the concept. This is one of those albums you can really go down the rabbit hole with. So basically, it takes the form of not really a poem, but like like a short story by an author called Thomas Ligotti, who wrote a lot of horror fiction and sort of surrealist fiction, had a very nihilistic worldview, and this sets the basis of this story. So you have David Tibet reciting the story or the poem. It's a 22-minute piece. It's all one long piece. And David Tibet narrates it in a very monotone type of way and quite disturbing, quite emotionless. And the backing is basically sort of drone based. It's sort of like synthesizer based. There's no real melody or tune. And in between the passages, there's like a mangled type of sample of speech. Apparently it's from a busted Speak and Spell, if you remember those kids' toys, which adds to this sort of eeriness and creepiness of it. Every time there's a break in the passage, this sort of garbled Speak and Spell type sound comes in. So yeah, that's what it sounds like. The actual story itself is equally as bizarre. It's basically the story of a narrator who, let's say, he thinks he's achieved all he has in life, and he's contemplating a special plan for the world. And the plan is never revealed, although, like I say, this is one of those albums you can go down a rabbit hole with. There's lots of theories as to what the plan actually is. But the stories of the narrator going to he encounters several bizarre people, several bizarre scenarios in which his plan is discussed or dismissed or being told it doesn't go far enough. And you sort of get the impression it's to do away with the world, the universe, all other worlds, and have nothing but darkness. So it's basically going back to the beginning. It's very difficult to describe, to be honest, and there's been lots of reinterpretations of it, and people read their own meaning into it. It is very open-ended, which is great in a way because you can put your own spin on it. There are some sort of simple explanations in terms of the narrator is somebody who's lost all his family, his friends, his loved ones. He might be approaching the end of his life and he's contemplating suicide, but I think that's too simple a description of it. My favourite interpretation is that the narrator is actually God, and he's just considering that he's made a mistake in making the world and the people in it and all their scheming and machinations and things like that, and he just wants to end it all. He wants to end the world, the universe, any sort of semblance of a belief in heaven and hell, everything. And it's very bleak, it's very nihilistic, and it's just a fascinating listen, and it's very unsettling and disturbing. There's lots of great imagery in it. So a lot of people might think it's a bit of a cop-out in that the plan is never revealed, but I think it's great because, like I say, it lets you put your own interpretations on it. It's a great story. Some of the people he sort of encounters along the way are equally as bizarre, and like I say, some great imagery in it. But it's the sort of thing that everybody should listen to at least once. There's no way on earth that anybody's going to come away with this and think, I'm going to hum this in the bath or anything like that. It is literally a spoken word story set to some very unsettling and disturbing music, and the story itself is quite unsettling, and even the album art is quite unsettling. But even if you just go online and read the actual lyrics to it or the story to it, it's great. It really appeals to me. It's just really bizarre, really off kilter, makes you think. And it's just fascinating listen. This reissue has a remix, bizarrely enough, on the B-side by Andrew Lillis, who was also part of the Nursery Wound and Current 93 Axis, and it's just basically him playing about with the vocals on it. So like you got two 20-minute pieces. So I suppose it's more of an EP than it is an actual album, but it's an absolutely fascinating listen, and I recommend everybody listen to this at least once. It's bizarre and quite disturbing, and like I say, has a very sort of nihilistic worldview to it. The artwork's by David Tibet as well, which adds to the unsettling drama of it. But yeah, really urge you to go out and try this, it's superb. Current 93, I have a special plan for this world. So another album I've been playing quite a lot recently in this cold month of January is a 1974 album by the guitarist Frith, and this is his 1974 album called Guitar Solos. Frith was the guitarist in the avant-garde prog band Henry Cow, a very experimental band, and this album is totally experimental too. I've always loved this cover. You've got Fred there, stood on a cricket pitch with an observer there, thinking, why are they making cricket bats that shape these days? And he's spoiling the play, Fred, get off. But this is his 1974 album, like I say. It's called Guitar Solos, but it's not, as you probably imagine, the kind of guitar solos you get from I don't know, Eddie Van Halen or Slash or any of the other classic guitarists. This is again very experimental. Apparently Virgin, who was the label at the time, said to him, we'd like you to make a solo album with your skills on guitar. And I think he thought that they were trying to make him into the next guitar hero, and Fred had other ideas. So basically these are 8 pieces of improvisational guitar solos. Now, if you're familiar with or you've heard of the jazz guitarist Derek Bailey, he had an approach where he tried to find new and exciting and different ways of playing the guitar by doing various different things, and Fred was in tandem really doing the same thing, although I don't think they were aware of each other's work at the time. So Fred would do loads of different things. He'd play guitar with different things as a plectrum. He'd sort of remove the pickup from his guitar and place it at the top of the guitar, and then apparently he'd put a capo halfway down the fretboard and electrify each side, so it was like he had a guitar that sounded like 2 guitars. He'd dismantle the guitar, he'd play it by laying it down and not actually holding it. And that's one of the shames of this album, really. It doesn't actually tell you what he does to achieve the effects, but the top and bottom of it is that he was trying to find a way of playing the guitar by not playing it in a traditional way or using traditional ways of playing the guitar. So the great thing about this album is it's an album that is just guitar and nothing else. There's no percussion, no bass, but it's a guitar that's been made to sound like it isn't a guitar. So, you know, it's amazing really when you hear the soundscapes, because that's effectively what they are. The soundscapes on here, they don't sound like guitars at all, and very little of it was done with the sort of effects pedals, and I didn't tend to use them. It was literally just by, you know, taking guitars apart or trying different things. And on the back cover, you can see Fred there. He's got like a piece of glass or mirror there. He's attached crocodile clips to the pickups and the strings. And just different ways of playing the guitar. And these are sort of like the guitar solos that came out of it, although they're just sort of they're more like soundscapes really. So the notes on the back tell you more about the album. This is a record of unaccompanied guitar solos. It was made in 4 days. All the pieces were improvised, some completely, some to roughly preconceived ideas. No overdubs were used. The only sounds not produced naturally by guitar or prepared guitar are those of a fuzz box used or an echo delay. And it's just all experimental type soundscapes, but it's not particularly avant-garde. It's not unlistenable. It's a challenging listen, but it's not, you know, there is melody there in parts, and it's not like the sort of thing where it sounds like a cat wailing or anything like that. There are some really nice soundscapes at times, but obviously it is very experimental at the same time. But I've been really enjoying this. It's very sort of abstract, very strange, very cold sounding. I'd recommend this if you're finding, you're wanting something to listen to that's a little bit different. And it was originally issued on the Virgin subsidiary of Caroline. As you can tell from the label, you can see the Virgin design there. Caroline was a budget label for all the artists on the Virgin label who made sort of like music with no commercial potential, basically. But it was good that Richard Branson still, put these albums out. They were a budget price for a reason, because obviously they weren't going to be like million sellers or anything like that. But yeah, really enjoyed this. If you like something a little bit different, or quite a lot different, then check out Fred Frith's guitar solos. Great album. So lastly, as you probably can't get enough of this good stuff, is a band that I've got into in the past couple of years, because their albums have slowly started to be reissued by a label called Blank Forms. A lot of the material came out in the early 90s, and it's a band from Kent made up of Graham Lampkin and Darren Harris, and the band are called The Shadow Ring, and this is their second album, Put the Music in Its Coffin, which is probably the reaction of a lot of people who heard this album at the time and probably still do. And yeah, it's quite fascinating, this one. I bought the first album when it was reissued and really enjoyed it. And I thought, yeah, I'll get another one. So this is the second one. So I picked this up just before Christmas. And they're just fascinating to me. It's, again, this is quite challenging. You have to be in the right frame of mind, and you do have to work quite hard at it to get where they're coming from. But it just endlessly fascinates me. Best way to describe it is monotone vocals, spoken word, a lot of abstract imagery on stories, and it's very lo-fi, recorded in bedrooms, and it's sort of like a band that has its own musical language, a bit like Captain Beefheart did it, during his Trout Mask Replica period, in that a lot of the guitars are strummed and they sound detuned. There's a lot of sort of like repetitive riffs and phrases in the music. It does sound like people who are not particularly trained in their instruments. There's a lot of DIY percussion, but it fascinates me, albums like this. This is, like I say, this is their second album from '94. There are the lads there. Not the happiest of blokes, but yeah, it's very much one of those albums that has its own sort of musical language. And these things fascinate me, because I just think, Adam Ant once said, ridicule is nothing to be scared of. And he's right. But I've got a lot of time for people who present music like this seriously, and they believe 100% in it, even though they know it's got no commercial potential, and people will probably laugh at them and think that's awful. Just the fact that people are brave enough to think that there's an audience for this sort of music out there, and they will eventually find that audience. And I'm one of them, which, rightly or wrongly, a bit of a weirdo. But yeah, I just find that totally fascinating, that people believe in what they're doing so strongly. And when you listen to it, you feel like it's just improvised on the spot, but it isn't. You can tell it's been sort of rehearsed a lot to sound like it does. It's not just a case of picking up an instrument and just, playing any old chord on a detuned guitar. You can tell it's heavily rehearsed, so it sounds like it does. But it also has things like there are mistakes left in. Sometimes the vocalist sort of stumbles over the words, or they start in the wrong place, but it's left in, and it just makes it more charming for that. And like I say, it's very much of its well, not of its time, but of its sound. It doesn't sound like anything else, and it is quite challenging to get a handle on it. You do have to put the work into it, and the sleeve notes on the back are quite aware of this, if you know what I mean. They sort of send themselves up a little bit. Fans will warm instantly to this LP, antagonists will loathe it, and newcomers could swing either way. And it is like that. It's sort of like you'd pick this up, put it on, and you think, I hate this. It's awful. I'm taking it back to the shop. Or this is amazing. I've never heard anything like this before. It's quite self-depreciating. The Shadow Ring, like never before, blend elements from the various musical styles, rock, folk, whatever, and serve them in a way that is neither improvised, pre-constructed, nor recreatable, only uniquely them. Of course, the criticism has been levelled at the band. They are nothing more than some half-baked ad-lib unit, only semi-concentrating on getting the tunes right. this LP will make up your mind. It certainly will make up your mind one way or another. I think it's brilliant. It's so bizarre. The imagery is bizarre, the lyrics are bizarre, and it's sort of like deconstructed folk music in a way. And I love it for that. It's perfect for a January month, where a challenging month calls for challenging music, in my opinion. And this is just perfect for it. So, yeah. The Shadow Ring put the music in its coffin and probably nailed it shut for most people. And I'm going to leave it there. So I hope you find something there that challenges you or puts you off or helps make January better for you. It certainly does for me. In my strange way, I find this sort of music really sort of perfect for this time of year, but it's not for everybody. But I hope you will check it out or just listen to a few of the albums on this list and make up your own mind. And yeah, so until next time, Midge out.